Hey guys, all right. So I figured I'd kind of work on a little video here about exactly what my process is for editing videos. Again, I know I kind of just started. Big thanks to Matt. Definitely huge thanks to Matt for helping me kind of get started with this. Sending me a couple links, pointing me in the right direction. But this is the main software I use. It's called Kdenlive. It's free. It seems to be pretty powerful. I've used other video editing tools before. I kind of like this one a lot. I've grown to learn it a little bit. So what I'm going to start off with is actually the format for what my very first video was. Now, I'm going to open this project. This was my very first one that I put together. This is probably my simplest one as far as like effects and stuff. And I kind of really just like want to bring your attention down to the bottom over here. I know it looks like there's a lot going on here. But what I want you to look at all this on the bottom left, V4, V3, V2, V1, A1, A2, A3. These are all just different layers for video and audio. All right, now you're going to see up here this black screen. This is kind of like your overall render preview, whereas up here in this clip monitor, this is if you're looking at one particular thing. Like this is where you would hit play just to look at that one particular item that you have highlighted as far as like a particular layer. But for the sake of actually looking at everything collectively, we'll use the project monitor because that's going to give you a render preview of all of your things that are happening at once across all the different layers. Now, I do want to let you know that I'm running an RTX 3070 on a 8-core, 16-thread Ryzen 7 3700X. It's a good computer, but the problem is no matter how good your computer is, when you're trying to preview your videos, you're going to get some choppiness, and that's because it's trying to render a lot on the fly as you're watching. So like, for example, it starts off a little choppy, then it gets going, and it kind of runs into its own thing. Now, this is my actual intro that I've been using. Oof, my computer is churning. Now, what I've done is I've actually just rendered out the section of this with that intro and saved it as an MP4 file, kind of as like my intro template. You'll see here, if I come into Docs, Kdenlive, I have an intro folder just with my intro itself. So I could throw this at the beginning of every project and not have to remake this every time. It's just gonna save a lot of time. Okay. But kind of just quickly to break down what everything you're looking at here. So here you can see there's a lot of layers like I explained before. Up here, these text screens, right? The left to right, that's just the duration of it. And let me try and open this up a bit. What I did is I kind of synced it to the music. So you can see Fortress is going to come up on the next beat. Boom. Classic on the next one. Boom. Okay, and then text on the next main beat. Right now. And you can get a good feel for where your beats are because you can slow down the playhead, line it up where you want it, get that text overlay. Fear the cheese. Fear the cheese. So you can move your playhead around and kind of find where you want your text overlays to land with the music. So there's a lot of granularity as far as being able to really customize stuff. Here's a good example of a fade. How, this fade out right here, and I can adjust that like by doing that or whatever. I'm just gonna undo that. And then I obviously continue that fade to kind of follow the theme of the music. Now, one particular question that was asked of me is, how do I get my fade effect my blur effect? So you can just right click something, okay? You can go to insert an effect and it gives you a limited option right here. But when you come to effects here, you get a lot of different things. And you could just like search for blur if you're better at typing than I am. I happen to use I think this is a box blur over here. So I can actually play with that. If you watch the preview on the clip monitor, you can really change it as you want, and it's dynamic. It adjusts as you kind of play around with that slider. Okay. So that's just kind of like a top level, basic intro to kind of how things are laid out here. I'm going to move ahead over here. You're going to see more audio tracks here, right? These little one-liners, and they all look the same. And that's because I actually went out and I grabbed a snippet. I forget what video it's from, but it's like an old like meme of a video. Boom! Headshot! Boom! Headshot! Right there. So, I obviously lined up my playhead to right when the guy's head pops off, and then threw that boom headshot on. So that's definitely on the more basic side of stuff. But just figuring out that little stuff, like lining up your video to have certain things happen to line up with the audio, it's a good motivating and encouraging kind of moment where you realize, oh, this really isn't that bad. So I'm just going to close out of this project, and what I want to show you now is kind of what I consider to be my old bad way of doing things. So like I would have my video clip, and I'd sit here and I'd watch it, and I'd put my timestamps in, which for a video like that, the 1-done indicates that it's for, video number 1. For a video like this with only a few, it's not that bad. But like, for example, I know I haven't done, I think I want to work on 5 tonight. This one has a lot of them. So this is kind of going to be a pain in the ass. But I've already spent the time to go through it. I've got another monitor, so I'm going to throw this text file up on the side here just to keep it out of view. But like I said, I've already gone through it. So I kind of might as well just run with it. Now, here's the thing. What I don't want to do is I don't want to throw my intro in yet. And the reason for that is my timestamps, right? Let's say my intro is 43 seconds long. All my timestamps are going to be screwed up because now I'm starting to watch footage at the 45-second mark where the playhead is. Okay. So if my intro, let's say it ended here at 48 and all my footage starts here, I'm 48 seconds past all of my footage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort through all my footage first, kind of get the framework for everything that I'm doing. And then I'll worry about, grouping it all up, sliding it over to the right. Once I have everything that I know I want to have, throw my intro in before it, go back into like post-prod and kind of add all my effects, my extra sound effects, any like goofy shit that I want to add in. For example, I'm going to show you guys another thing I did for my last soldier video, which I think at this point was kind of my best one. And that's kind of how I think this will go, is that all of your newest videos should kind of always be your best because you've learned the most from them. I threw in, I don't know if it's going to come up. I'll pull up the MP4 of it.
Not in my
right here.
Not in my house.
Just goofy little shit like that. But you could just, I think it was this moment right here, this top and bottom. Every video that you add in will automatically split track video and audio. And all I did is like kind of just chopped it on the other side, inserted that quick little Dikembe Mutombo clip in there, and that was it. Nothing crazy. So, yeah, I figure, why don't we do this? I'm going to keep this on the other screen so that you guys don't got to look at it. And then I wanted to go with 5, right? Yeah, it was 5. So I'm just going to throw 5 in. I'm going to drag it up here. This is called the project bin. Okay. I'm just going to move my playhead all the way back to 0 and then select it. I'm going to drag it down, and I'm actually going to keep these tracks separate. Instead of doing them like this, I'm going to do it like this, and I'll explain why later. But for the time being, we're just going to bring that to the start. So we could see here that I have a clip at 27, and what I usually do is when I'm reviewing my footage and I do timestamps, I know 27 is actually a couple seconds before my actual kill. This way it just gives me a little bit of time. So like here in this case, we'll come to 26.
He just ran right by this guy. That's awesome. Fatty in the...
Okay, so I think that that's actually a pretty good kill, and I've got an idea for that. So what I'm going to want to do for that, and I'll kind of use this to take notes. Just as a quick idea. And I notice this happens to me a lot. As I find a particular kill, I'm like, ooh, I want to add this kind of effect. What is that called? Is that called skeet shooting? Let's see. I know this might be a little boring for you.
Hopefully hitting shooters aim and fire. Hopefully Valley Fish dynamic.
All right, so I'll work on that myself. But just right off the bat, I'm thinking, hey, I think it might be kind of funny and creative if I throw a quick clip and pull, and then, you know.
He just ran right by this guy.
Pull!
That's awesome.
I'm going to do that. So I'll work that out. At any rate, again, I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm just going to kind of cut out a little bit where I want. Click the little scissors here. Line up my playhead. And I know that everything before that is garbage. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And I know that my next one is not until 51 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this play.
Top right.
Oh, hang on.
He just ran right by this guy. That's awesome. Fatty in the...
And then I'm just going to pause it because I got what I wanted. Then I'm going to clip again. Come back to my pointer. And again, my next one is 51 seconds. Let's just move ahead. Right about here.
Your gun.
Spy Ellie. You're gonna go down?
Nothing too exciting about that kill. But let's say I wanted to keep it. I'll go back before, a little bit before the kill itself. Cut this. And I know that this whole area is dead space. So I'm going to get rid of it. But what you're going to notice, what I'm not doing is I'm not taking this and bringing it to here yet, because that's going to continue to affect all of my timestamps. So what I've been noticing, at least with my workflow, again, I really want to emphasize that this is my workflow. I'm not saying this should be your workflow. If you guys decide that, you know, you want to give this program a shot, you know, if you kind of maybe want to use how I approach things as influence and find your own better ways, because again, I'm still pretty new to this. I'm still going to be finding out new, better, more efficient ways to maximize my time, be as productive as possible. Definitely, please, by all means, don't look at what I'm doing as, you know, quote unquote, the way to do it. It's a way to do it. There are many other ways to do it, and I'm sure there are many more that are better than mine. But at any rate, I'm gonna let that one.
You're gonna go down?
Got my kill. And that this way I know when I start my next clip, everything to the left of it will be garbage. Because I've got this little guy, I know that's good. This little guy, I know it's good. And you can see that whenever I select the audio, the video itself, it automatically grabs the audio with it. And that's because they're all grouped together. Now, I'm going to quickly explain to you why the reason I don't want to throw my intro in, or why I'm putting this on a different track, why I'm separating them out so far. And that's because when I throw my intro in, and I learned this with my last video. Where is it? When I throw my intro in right here, if I want to do any special audio to my audio effects to my game audio, I don't want it on the same audio track as my intro one, because, and this could just be an issue that I was facing, is that I was finding it hard to make certain audio effects for a bunch of individual different little audio clips. So it's kind of a pain in the ass because it's do it again, do it again, do it again. And when you have 70 little clips comprising of a video, kind of turns into a huge pain in the ass. So I realized, oh, I should keep my intro audio on a separate track than my game engine audio. And that's because if I want to blanket adjust all of my game engine audio, I could do that without affecting the audio track where, you know, my intro video is. So just kind of little shit that you pick up on and you learn. So all right, I'm gonna go through a few more cuts here. Next one's 146. Let's scroll ahead. You know, nothing crazy, nothing spectacular. I mean, truth be told, I wasn't very impressed with this one either. So I'm going to pull that one out. Next one is 157. Nothing crazy. You know, I obviously really like this first one because
We just ran right by this guy. That's awesome.
you know, I think that's a decent shot. A lot of these other ones are just like, okay, whatever, fairly standard sniper kills. So we'll go to 223 and 249. We'll try and remember the two of those.
Scout spiral.
Nothing crazy. We'll go to 249.
I got down.
Nothing crazy. You know, 304, 318.
Thank you.
Nothing crazy. And I think the next one was 318. Nothing crazy. So it definitely gets a little redundant. It gets a little boring after a while because you kind of just got to keep sifting through all this stuff. And I didn't want this video to be too long-winded per se. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to wrap this one, and I can always kind of make like a part 2 to this as far as, you know, post-production effects, adding all like those extra little bells and whistles. So we'll kind of consider this one as just like a top level fundamentals and like concept of how to kind of compose your stuff, and actually before how to compose that stuff, more so how to approach composing it. You know, it's important to kind of have an idea in your head of, you know, what am I trying to accomplish? What kind of feel do I want it to have? How do I kind of make these videos all have a, not the same feel, but a cohesive feel? Like, you know, you can watch a couple different videos and be like, oh, I've seen this guy's kind of work before. I know this is, you know, Matt's video. I know this is Pepperjack's video, whatever. You know, you kind of want to have your own brand to it, your own feel, your own approach, and your own style. I think that's the good word I'm looking for. So I'll keep working this through. I'll definitely keep screwing around we'll see how it goes. And I'll obviously, when I'm in like the post-production side of it, I'll work on all the extra stuff, and then we'll take it from there. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate your time. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, definitely let me know, and I'll be happy to cover them. Bye.